Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another class. My name is Popson Francis. I am your personal development educator, founder, and CEO of Eurique LLC. Today, we're looking at Module 3. So, we are beginning Module 3 today, which is self reflection and self talk. And today's lesson is Introduction to Self Reflection. So, you are in the right place if you want to learn how to leverage self reflection so that you will become more self aware. This is our self awareness series. We are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. for those in Jamaica or in Central Time. All right, so thank 5 p.m. for those in Pacific Time and so many other time zones. Thank you for joining. Now, please go ahead and share this link with someone. If you're here live with us, you definitely want to go ahead and share the link. If you are watching the recording, share the link as well and give us a thumbs up. Let's connect to Facebook. Facebook keeps disconnecting. I'm not sure why. Let me address that. All right, almost there, almost there. Loading, 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 loading. Wonderful. So, hi, those of you who are on Facebook. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're happy that you are here. Please go ahead and share the link with someone as we are about to get started. Let me check the comments, the chat. Feel free to send a hi, say a hello, so I know that you're present and ready for class. You may have a friend, a colleague, a family member who has forgotten that, hey, class starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. They did not hit their all post notification. They didn't. So they haven't gotten the notification. So please send them a nudge as we are about to begin. Let's kick things off. Or again, we are beginning module 3, lesson 1 in the confusion to confidence, the journey to authentic self awareness. Remember that you can stay connected using our social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Our handle is Thrive at Eurique1. You can also visit our website at thriveateurique.com. So feel free to visit our website as displayed on the top of the screen at the top. Visit our website at thriveateurique.com, where you can learn more about the services that we provide. So we provide one-to-one coaching, online courses as this one. We do workshops for corporate, church events, any type of workshop. We're there for personal development, team development, worksheets as well. You know that we publish the self-growth worksheets. So those are available, speaking and hosting services. All right, so let's do a quick recap. So sorry, that we have completed the introductory module. We completed module 1. We also completed module 2, and today we begin module 3, self-reflection and self-talk. So we are forging ahead, which is awesome. So we're going to delve into module 3 again, self-reflection and self-talk. But before we do that, it is our custom to do a little revision of the previous lesson. So last week's lesson, we completed module 2 and we looked at lesson 2 of that module, understanding triggers. And as a way of revising, we focused on understanding what emotional triggers are and how they work. We recognize common triggers by doing some introspection, and we also applied some simple everyday technique to begin managing your responses to trigger. Please keep in mind that I am not your therapist. I am a personal education or personal development educator. All right, let's move forward. Let's tap into lesson 1, introduction to self-awareness. And by the end of this lesson, you will be able to do 3 things. Number 1, understand the purpose and benefits of self-reflection. Number 2, explore key self-reflection techniques. And number 3, develop a personalized self-reflection practice as you move from day to day. We're going to start out with a little brain what do we call it, brain teaser, icebreaker, that's the word I'm looking for, icebreaker activity. For those of you who have purchased the self-growth worksheet, you can turn to page 25. So this is your first learning moment, self-reflection. The work specific worksheet that I'm referencing is called self-reflection starter kit activity 1. And for those of you who are online, feel free to comment in the chat as we go through this icebreaker activity. All right. So before we continue, let's do this quick self-reflection survey. It's not too long. It's about 5 questions. And then from there, you can see what insights you have received from your answer, if you have received any insights. So the first question, and get your fingers ready to respond in the chat. Get your fingers ready. So the responses are going to be always, sometimes, rarely, or never. So those are the responses we're working with. Always, sometimes, rarely, and never. I'm going to also put it, let me create a banner and I'll put that so you can have that to reference, especially for those who may come in after and you're watching. So it's always, let me put that in for you. Always, sometimes, rarely, and never. So that's the scale that we're working with. All right. So let me put that up for you. Always, sometimes, rarely, never. Question 1. Get ready. Question 1. How often do you take time to think about your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions? Always, sometimes, rarely, never. Question 1. How often do you take to think about your thoughts, feelings, and actions? The responses are always, sometimes, rarely, never. And you can do a tally of the frequency of these 4 responses. All right. And if you want to do that in the privacy of your home, that's fine as well. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So we are engaged in the self-reflection starter kit on page 25. For those of you who have the self-growth worksheet, you can physically do this, right? Whether you have the hard copy printed out or the digital version. For those of you who don't, we're going through and you can respond in the chat, or you can make your personal notes at home. Question number 2. When faced with a challenge, do you try to understand why you feel or react a certain way? Question 2. When faced with a challenge, do you try to understand why you feel or react a certain way? The responses again are always, sometimes I do it, I rarely do it, I never do it. Let's move on to question number 3. Do you keep a journal or a record of some sort, whether on your phone, physically, in voice recordings, to capture your thoughts and personal growth? Always, sometimes, rarely, never. And put the number beside it. So if it's question 3, just put 3 so I know you're responding to that one. So question 3 is, do you keep a journal or record to capture your thoughts and personal growth? Always, sometimes, rarely, I never do it. Let's go to question number 4. And again, this should give you some insights. Question 4. How often do you set aside time to review your personal goals and your values? Because we know that values can change over time. And we also know that when you set goals, you should review them from time to time to see if you're actually achieving them. So question 4, how often do you set aside time to review your personal goals and your values? Always, sometimes, rarely, never. And the final question, question number 5. When looking back on past experiences, do you try to identify lessons or insights for future improvement? Question 5. When looking back or when looking on past experiences, do you try to identify lessons or insights for future improvement? Do you always do it? Do you do it sometimes? Do you rarely do it? Or do you never do it? See what insights you can glean, what perspective you can glean from the responses here. All right. And that will help you. It's the starter kit, self reflection starter kit. And let me know how that exercise, how was it for you? Was it insightful? Did it give you time to do some self reflection, which is what we're talking about today? That's why I was intentional in beginning with that activity. So, this is just one of the ways that you can self reflect. You can ask yourself questions. It doesn't have to be a million questions. It could be 2 questions. It could be 3 questions before you go. I'm already sharing with you a technique. And before you go to bed, whenever you go to bed, you just mentally or written or whatever form you ask yourself these questions, and that can help to give you insights about how you did throughout the day, how you can improve the next day, and what you want to continue to do or what you want to continue to practice because it was something that's positive. Thank you, Shelter 30, for responding to the exercise, and A. Smith for also responding to the exercise. Let's move forward. All right. So let's define what self reflection is. Self reflection is the conscious process. Conscious. Remember, we're moving away from autopilot. So it is a conscious process. It means you're putting effort into it. You are aware of it. Life is not just passing you by. So self reflection is the conscious process of examining things like your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And the objective of doing this is to gain deeper understanding of yourself. That's why you are doing it. So you may say, what's the connection between self reflection and self awareness? You cannot be self aware without self reflecting, because that's how you are examining the things that you think, you are your thoughts, you're examining your feelings, you're examining your behavior, and your intent is to gain deeper understanding of yourself. All right. And nobody can do that for you. I always say that people can tell us who we are. Let me remove the banner from the screen. People can always give insights about who we are. And while we're responsible with accepting the insights of some and definitely rejecting the insights of others because the intent is ill and evil, we should take the time to do some reflection. Because if we don't, we won't realize that we are growing. Or personal identity maps change every single day. The things that we hold valuable yesterday may not be the things that we'll hold valuable a month or 10 years from now. We all change. So, how will you know that you have changed? If you don't know, you're going to be stuck in the mold of the past, operating how you've always operated, and wishing that you could make a difference, wishing that you could see adjustments, wishing that you could develop into a better version of yourself. But how can we develop into better versions of ourselves when we do not take time to reflect on our present self? That is a question that we can ponder. Let me go to the comments. Good evening. No worries. That's fine. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. All right. So that's what self reflection is. Now, for those of you who are here, I want you to be honest with me. Put in the chat. Put in the chat. Do you engage in self reflection? Yes or no? Do you engage in self reflection? Do you take the time to consciously examine your thoughts, your feelings, or your behavior so you can extrapolate, so you can observe, so you can understand yourself better? There's a yes in the chat, anybody else, do you take time to engage in self reflection? And self reflection is not just about the positive attributes, right, of our character. It also focuses on those areas of development, those areas that we can change to become better versions of ourselves. Absolutely important for those of you who are doing it. For those of you who are not doing it, I would encourage you to start. And I'm going to share some techniques with you towards the end of today's class. So, what's the purpose of self reflection? Okay, so Shell says yes, a whole lot of self reflection recently. I love that. I'm curious, what was the catalyst for that? What motivated you to do a lot of self reflection, especially recently? Let me know if you're comfortable sharing. Okay. Now, what's the purpose of self reflection? There are a number of purposes. Number one, we do it to foster personal growth. If we want to grow, then we have to reflect, right? We have to reflect because nobody's perfect. And we all need to make changes to become a better version of who we were created to be. The next purpose of self reflection is that it enhances your self awareness because as you are reflecting, you're getting insights into who you are, who you want to be, and who you have been. I love this. So, the reason for Sheld engaging more in self reflection is taking on a personal healing journey, which is great. And we all self reflect and may be motivated to do it for various reasons and at various stages in our life. So these are some of the purposes. You want to foster personal growth, number one. You want to enhance your self awareness, number two. Number three, you want to promote a clear understanding of your goals and your values. And I'm sure you can add other purposes to this list. And if you'd like to do that, feel free to type it in the chat. Like, why are you engaging in self reflection? And if you have not been doing it, why would you want to start? As one of your classmates said, I want to take on a personal healing journey. I want to be promoted in my career. I want to be a better spouse. I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better friend. I want to step into the image of God based on how He created me. I want to turn my back on unhealthy habits and I want to acquire and I want to develop and promote healthy habits in my life. So there's so many reasons and purposes for self-reflection. Let's delve into the benefits, right? So I'm going to share some benefits with you. So if you're in doubt and you're thinking, you know what, I'm not even sure if I want to engage, if you're like, I'm not even sure I want to engage in this self-reflection thing, my hope is that you will be nudged to begin or to continue because you'll see the benefits. And that's a decision that you'll have to make. Hopefully, you'll make the decision to engage. So, number one is that it's going to increase your self awareness. How so? When you gain insights into your own behaviors, when you gain insights into your strengths, when you gain insights into your areas of growth or areas of development, this can help to guide your personal and your professional development. After a long day at work, do you take the time to increase your self-awareness by engaging in self-reflection? What did I do well today? What did I not do well today? How can I do better tomorrow? These are the various questions, along with so many others, that you can ask yourself to increase your self-awareness. Let's move on to benefit number two. Benefit number two is that self-reflection can help you to improve your emotional regulation. Remember the analogy we used last week. We spoke about a pipe and how the pipe, you have the gauge on the tap or the pipe, and you can increase the flow or you can decrease the flow. That's the analogy I used for emotional regulation. So, benefit number two of self-reflection is your ability to recognize patterns in your emotional responses. And I can tell you sometimes that's hard to do, but if you sit with yourself and you reflect, you will be very amazed at the insights that you receive from your emotional responses. And many times we'll have to put on our big girl panties, as some would say, right? You have to put on your big girl socks, whatever article of clothing, so that you can get those insights. Because sometimes when we're in the heat of the moment, we don't realize our emotional responses, we're going to survival mode. But when we take the time, our defenses are down, you'll be very amazed, as I said, at the insights that you can receive, at the perspectives that can come to the fore. Absolutely. All right. So, recognizing patterns in our emotional responses, this is going to allow us to manage our feelings more effectively and improve resilience in challenging situations. And I believe that we all can testify, we all can attest that life can be very challenging at times for whatever reason. It gets rough, it gets inundating. You can feel very overwhelmed, especially when there are variables that are outside of your control. There are factors and situations and circumstances that are outside of your control, and even choices that we make, right? And so, when we self reflect, it can really give us perspective so that we do not feel as if we're being destroyed by the challenging situations. And for anyone out there listening, whether you're live or you're listening, watching the recording or listening the recording, I want you to know that even though you're going through a challenging and difficult season, seasons change. And this is for all of us. Seasons change. No season lasts forever. Whether it takes 2 months, a year, 5 years, do not count yourself out. It is not over until it is over. And once you have life, you never know what God can do to turn things in your favor. So hold strong, do the best you can, learn from the insights that you're receiving during the class so you can be more self-aware, so even when you cannot control the variables and the situations and the circumstances and the people around you, you can control yourself and how you show up, because that's going to be, for many people and for many of us, the deciding factor between being sane and just losing it and losing all hope. Just wanted to speak that into your life this evening or this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're watching. Let's move on to benefit number 3. So, self reflection is going to help you to enhance your decision making. And how does it do this? By understanding our motivations and our core values, which we spoke about in module 1, it's going to help us to make choices that align more closely with our long term goals and our personal standards. If you are not a part of the module 1 class, I'm going to encourage you to visit that. I believe it was lesson 2 or lesson 3, if my memory is serving me correctly. So you want to go ahead and you want to watch that recording, because it really helps you to concretize, to recognize, and even to develop your core values. When you self-reflect, when you self-reflect, you're not going to jump at every opportunity, because not all opportunities are really opportunities. Self reflection is going to give you the ability and the circumstance or the environment to slow down, so you do not hastily make decisions and then regret it. And when I say you, I'm talking to all of us, because self awareness is important for every human being on this planet. And it's a continuous journey, because, as I said, who you were when you were 16 years old, it's a different person at 22. You may carry fragments of who you were in the past, but you metamorphosize, you change over periods of time, because of experiences, because of worldview, because of family, because of decisions, because of environment. So that's why self-awareness, it never stops. You're just going to be better at it because you're going through this course. Let's look at benefit number 4. With self reflection, you will build better relationships. How? When you recognize your own needs, when you recognize your communication style and your behaviors through self reflection, it's going to allow you to interact more empathetically and authentically with others. If I were to ask you tonight, what is one of your main needs? What would you put? What would you say? Take some time and let me know your thoughts in the chat. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? And let's move away from the physical needs, because we know we all need shelter, we need clothing, we need food. Move away from the physical and tell me, what's one need that's very important to you? And how easily are you able to identify that need? Was it easy? Is it challenging? Are you still trying to find out what's the need that I have? Here's the thing. If you don't know what your needs are, how can you communicate it to somebody else? And let's flip the switch. If you don't know what your needs are, how can you respect the needs of others? Because there's some of us who are in friendships, relationships, and our friends or spouses or parents or children or colleague would have made a request of us. This is my need. This is what I appreciate. This is what I don't appreciate. But you go ahead and you totally disregard it. You totally disregard their need. And then when they set their boundaries, you're offended. How dare you cut me off? Did you respect the person's need? Did you respect the person's desire? And I'm happy Snow said this last week on the call. She said, some of us are having challenges or we're being triggered when persons set boundaries because we don't know how to set boundaries ourselves. And I remember sharing with you that some of us are triggered and hurt when our friends set boundaries because they do not meet the expectations that we have. So think about that, process that, and see what you can learn about yourself. So one of the pieces, one need that has been placed in the chat by G. Smith is personal growth. You need spiritual growth, sorry. There is a need for you to grow spiritually. If you understand what that need is, then whatever comes in your circle that does not align with your spiritual growth, you know off the bat, this is not for me. And the opposite of that, if something comes in your situation and your circumstance that aligns to that spiritual growth, that need, then you know this is for you. You also are going to be intentional with your associations. Some of us are still in friendships and relationships because we don't know what our needs are. And we cannot chastise others because they know what their needs are. So if I'm your friend, I'm just going to use myself as an example. If I'm your friend or I'm your colleague and I have a need, my need is that you respect my boundaries. My need is that we do not entertain certain conversations. And if you continue to push that envelope, then I'll know that this association is not for me. This colleagueship at work is not for me. This friendship is not for me. Good evening. Thank you for coming. You're late, but that's all right. I'm glad you're here. Let's look at point number 5. The benefits of self-reflection is that it will foster resilience. Resilience, just as the picture is indicating on screen. No, you don't need to apologize. That's fine. I'm just happy you're here. I was just messing with you and I said you're late. All right. So I'm going to expand the picture. So the picture you're seeing on screen, it's showing you solid rock. And out of that rock, you're seeing plants emerging. Resilience is when you are able to push through the challenging circumstances of life. Anybody here experiencing challenging circumstances of life? Resilience and tenacity. These are the things that you're going to need to push through. Where even in solid granite, in rocks, in hard places, in deserts, in toxic environments, you're able to push through and shine. And one of the ways you're going to be able to do that is self-reflection. Many of the challenges that we face today, let me come back on screen. Many of the challenges we face today, really, many of them have little to do with external people, situations, and circumstances. And let me explain why I say that. We cannot control people, situations, and circumstances. You never have, and you never will. Even if you're in control of your children until a certain age, yes, fine, but they're going to grow up and they're going to make their own decisions. So for sanity, for peace of mind, let us zone in and zoom into ourselves to see how best we can reflect, understand ourselves, become self-aware, so that people are not basically using remote control on our lives. So resilience, it's going to help you to cope with stress, distress, adversity, by fostering a sense of control and understanding of yourself as you are in various situations. Okay? So those are 5 benefits that I've shared with you. Let's move on. We're going to transition to the starter kit activity number 2, and that is on page 26. The starter kit, self-reflection starter kit activity 2, this is your second learning moment. So on this worksheet, beautifully done, if I may say so myself. So on this worksheet, this one right here, you have different boxes with different prompts. And I want you to take the time to complete these prompts, right? Because they're going to help you. And this particular page, page 26 of the self-growth worksheet, you can complete this every evening. It doesn't take a lot of time. You don't even have to write. After a while, it's going to be a part of you. So you can lie in bed, you can sit in the couch, if you're exercising, if you're doing dishes, if you're doing laundry, and you can ask yourself these questions. Again, for those of you who are interested in purchasing the self-growth worksheets, I'm going to put the link in the chat for you so you can have that at your disposal. And we're looking at page 26, right? So here's a response from one of your classmates. I realized recently that some of my current challenges was mostly due to a lack of self-identity and self-awareness. Listen, shan't I tell you, people underestimate the power of being self-aware. Underestimate it. We value material things because we feel if we buy the newest dress or the newest shirt and we get our hair done and we get our nails done, and these things are important. I'm not saying they're not important, to each his own, but these are not the most important things in life, because you can have on the most expensive outfit, but you lack confidence. You can have the most expensive, classy outfit. You can live in the most classiest, the most classy community. You can have the most expensive car, but still behave like a vagabond. I'm sorry. Still behave like a crab in the barrel, pulling other people down. So our external and the physical things are just a minute part of who we are. When you are self-aware, you walk in the dominion that God has given you. When you are self-aware, you take back the power from others who play you like a puppet. When you are self-aware, you decrease, not necessarily eliminate, because it's a continuous growth journey, but you decrease your blind spots. When you are self-aware, you walk in your power. When you're self-aware, you walk in your purpose. There is no time for you to compare yourself to other people. The adage says that comparison is the thief. And when I see people who are they compare themselves to others, their standard is based on the standard of somebody else, their goals are based on the goals of others, they're never satisfied, they bring down other people so they can feel better about themselves. Off the bat, I'm like, that's somebody walking who is a zombie of him or herself. When I meet people who gossip and slander others, I know you're not self-aware. You're not self-aware because gossiping and slander somehow makes you feel better about yourself. But how do you achieve that? You achieve it by putting down somebody else. You're not self-aware. You're not confident, even if you present yourself or you profile. It's just a facade. It's a mask. And when when we are in company with these types of people, we belittle ourselves. You're like, oh, that person is so this and that person is so that. But it's the little things that people do that reveal the content of their heart. But when you self-reflect, you're like, why was I jealous of that person? Why was I covetous of that person? Why did I think myself lower? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. But they won't know because they're not self-reflecting and they're not self-aware. That's not going to be your story. And if it was, or if it were, it will not be your story coming into this season. Because you're here and you're learning every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right? Okay, let's move forward. So for this practice activity, the prompts are, it says today's insight. What was the best part of your day and why? And if you want to flip it, what was the worst part of my day and why? But gratitude is important. So what was the best part or what was the worst part of my day? Then you do an emotional check-in with yourself. Which emotions did I feel most strongly today? And you list those because you're identifying. Then the next prompt is personal insights. Based on what was your best part or what was your worst part, and based on the emotions that you engaged in, then you're going to do personal insights. What did I learn about myself today? That's the personal insight. So we do today's highlight. I'm going to come on screen. So you do today's highlight, which is just stating the fact. How was my day today? What was the best part? What was the worst part? And then you transition from just stating today's highlight into more emotional. What are the emotions? What were the emotions that I felt? And then you go to personal insights. What have I learned about myself today? And then we don't want to just stop there. We want to move to the next stage, which is positive action step. All of this is outlined in the self-growth worksheet, and you can use this every single day. Every single day you can pop this out. So what is a positive step or some positive steps? So the question for that is, what's one thing? Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. What's one thing? You don't have to do 10 things. Sometimes less is more. What's one thing I can do tomorrow to build on today's insights? What is it that I'm going to continue? What is it that I'm going to stop? So that is page 26 of the Self-Affection Starter Kit. If you don't want to complete it right now, feel free to do that after the live. And then you can share any insights you like when we meet next week, Tuesday. All right, we're going to look at some techniques now. So the first technique is journaling. So you can write about your thoughts and your experiences daily, which is why you have the starter self-reflection starter kit activity too. It's like a mini journal and the prompts are already there for you. Or if you decide to just do free writing in your journal, that's okay. So write about your thoughts and your experiences daily or weekly, and reflect on what you learned and how you felt. Good night, Rose. Number 2, meditation can be useful as well. So spend time in quiet meditation. For me, I do biblical meditation. I don't do the type of, what do they call it? The universe speaking to me meditation. I do biblical meditation. Sitting in, whether I'm reading my Bible, or I'm praying, or I'm just sitting in silence without being busy because it's so hard. Is there anybody on the call who sometimes finds it difficult to just sit in silence and sit in boredom? Boredom is not necessarily a bad thing. Some of us, we try with our last breath not to be bored. But I've learned from my husband that boredom can be something that's very useful. Let me use an example. When you were growing up, were you bored at times? And in those places of boredom, did you find yourself going outside, playing, finding things to do? For those of you who like to read, you read. For those of you who like to frolic, you frolicked or played. For those of you who like to, you found something creative. Your parents said, turn off the television, go outside, find some. Did you not? You spoke to the trees, you picked the leaves, you played hopscotch, you did whatever needed to be done. Boredom can also release creativity. So, meditation, it is something that I would encourage you to engage in. Again, you have to make that decision, but it's quiet time and it doesn't have to be a long time. Right. So V Stewart says, I can't remember the last time I felt bored. Why is that though? Why is that? Why is that? I think that's something for us to explore, maybe in a different session, because we don't give ourselves time to be bored. Our agenda is stacked from the moment our eyes are open to when they close. There is a slot in every part of our agenda. No time to breathe, no time to slow down, no time to rest, no time to just sit in silence. Even if you're in the bathroom, sit in silence. Go for a walk, walk in silence. Fully booked out, absolutely, fully booked out. And it's in that full booking or that full schedule that we lose our self-awareness and we lose ourselves. Why? Because in that booking and in that schedule and in that timeline, most of the time, I beg you, refute me tonight. Refute me. Prove me wrong. Most of the time, that schedule is packed with things you're doing for others. You go to work, yes, you're getting benefit, you get paid, but the service, you're serving others. You're cooking for the children, you're serving the children. You're talking on the phone, you're encouraging, you're serving others. My question to you is, when do you get time for yourself? When? Doesn't need to be an hour, doesn't need to be an expensive vacation, but just time to reflect on who you are, what you've become, and what you will become. Let's move on to the other self-reflection techniques. So choose any one or any two and start that. Start that. Number 3, mind mapping. So you can create visual diagrams that represent your thoughts on a specific issue, on a specific day, based on a specific circumstance, and it can help you to clarify and organize your ideas. Some people may call it doodling, just writing, just drawing, kind of absent-minded drawing on the paper, writing on the paper, but you can be intentional. Mind mapping. A circle, put a word in it, put a situation in it. Work today, or March, right? Work today, or March 16. What date is it? I don't even remember. March 17, 2026. And from that, you can draw different lines from that. Okay, mind mapping. What was March 2026 all about today? It was a busy day, productive day. I felt tired, but I laughed today. A friend called me and shared some wonderful news. I connected with my best friend. I connected with my brother, connected with my brethren. I prayed today. I read my Bible today. So you're getting insights and your days are not just passing you by. And as you're doing that mind mapping, you can say, okay, What can I get from this? Okay, these are the positive things. These are the things that I'd like to continue. Maybe tomorrow I'll take maybe one of them and continue that. Oh, I don't want to do this. Today I overate. Or today I overslept. Or today I ate something I know I'm allergic to. I don't want to do that tomorrow. Just a simple mind map. Get a paper. And you can do it now if you'd like. Get a piece of paper. All right. Have your paper ready. Then where's my pencil? Then in the middle, you have your circle and whatever you want to put in the circle. It could be a date, it could be a circumstance, it could be a situation, anything. If you're thinking about your spiritual growth, your physical activity, put it in the middle. So if I put March 17, 2026, all right, that's March 17, 2026. And then from there, I'm drawing lines. So the lines are moving. This is a type of mind mapping. So your lines are moving, and then you could say, I exercised today. Okay, I spoke to a friend. So you're filling out your mind map. And then from there, you could say, okay, this was good, but I went too long. I did 60 minutes and that threw off the rest of my day. So tomorrow I'm going to do 30 minutes or 45 minutes, or I have more time, and things like that can really, really help. All right. I will try mind mapping. I do like to draw. Awesome. I love it. Love it. All right. Next, we have self-questioning. So this is similar to the starter kit, self-reflection starter kit on page 26 of the self-reflection of the self-growth worksheet, right? So basically what you have questions that you ask yourself, and you can decide there are 2 questions, 1 question, 3 questions I'm going to ask myself every single day, and you can do it at multiple times throughout the day. So I'm going to do it in the morning, or I'm going to do it in the noonday, or I'm going to do it at night. Don't go with 20 questions because you don't want it. What you don't want your questioning to feel like it's a task. You want to make it as seamless as possible. Okay, as seamless as possible, low energy as possible, especially if you're doing it at the end of the day when you're drained, or at the beginning of the day when you're just not a morning person. You want to be able to want it to be like easily achieved, and you're still getting the benefits of it. So ask yourself probing questions like, what did I learn today? What could I have done differently? And this is going to stimulate deeper thinking. That's what you want because you're self-reflecting. Number 5, feedback from others can be useful as well. See constructive criticism, not anybody tearing you down. See constructive criticism and insights from friends, family, or colleagues to gain outside perspective on your behaviors and your choices. Ensure that these people are people you trust. Ensure they're people you trust. And importantly, ensure that they're people who have proven trustworthy over time. Okay, it could be a professional that you go to, someone who is objective, who's not close to your situation or your circumstance. Okay. Number 6, reflection prompts. So use specific questions, which is similar to point number 4 that I shared earlier, self-questioning. All right. So reflection prompts use specific questions or statements to guide your reflections. And one of the ways you can do your reflection prompts, they could be mental as well. It's called the reflection pause. So the reflection pause, it's a useful self-reflection technique, of course, and it is quick, usually like 2-minute self-reflection break. So you're taking breaks, 2 minutes. Walk out, look at the window, 2 minutes, and you can pause and reflect in those 2 minutes. You're in the bathroom, 2 minutes. You're washing dishes, 2 minutes. You may realize that you go longer than 2 minutes, but you don't want to think, oh, I have to block out an entire hour to reflect. No, that's not what I'm saying. So it's a quick 2-minute self-reflection break to take at any point during the day. If you're at work, you may want to step away from your desk and do that, maybe even during lunch. It's just a great strategy overall, and it allows you to pause. It allows you to breathe, and it allows you to reflect on how you're feeling. Not just how you're feeling, but it also allows you to connect with yourself even throughout a busy schedule and a busy day. If you're working on a task, 1 minute won't do any harm. 1 minute, just 1 minute to pause and just to breathe. Okay, so that's the self reflection pause, and you want to continue doing that throughout the days. So you are reinforcing. You can even set a specific time. Be flexible with yourself though, because one day your schedule and timing may be different from another. If you want to be very intentional, I would recommend that you pull out your phone right now or whatever device you have. Don't know what it is. Pull it out and set a timer and call it reflection pause. Call it reflection pause. And every day at that time when the alarm goes off, just 1 minute, just 2 minutes. How am I feeling? Take the time to breathe, even to stretch, all right, and check in with yourself. Here's the thought that just came to mind. You may lose other human beings and still survive and even thrive in this world, but you cannot lose yourself and survive in this world. You cannot lose yourself and thrive in this world. All other human beings, yes, you may lose people, but you cannot lose yourself. And that's why you have to invest in yourself. And for those of you who are showing up every Tuesday at class, whether you're early or you come after we start at 8, you're still showing up. And for those of you who cannot show up to the live, you're watching the recording. This is an investment in self that will last for the rest of your life. And nobody, absolutely no one, can take that investment away from you. Ching. All right, let's move forward. We're wrapping up. So self-reflection is a skill that develops over time, just like with self-awareness and any component that we've looked at throughout our classes on Tuesdays. I'm going to encourage you to practice using self-reflection, the self-reflection starter kit, and the reflection pause technique that I just shared with you. The self-reflection starter kit, it's on page 25 and page 26 of the self-growth worksheet, and the link to get that is in the chat. I am going to put it in again. Did I not put it in earlier? I thought I did. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so that's how you can get that. And these pieces are going to help you to align your insights and track your personal growth. Let me check in with you. As usual, put a 1, yes or no in the chat based on the questions. After completing Module 3, Self-Reflection, Self-Talk, Lesson 1 specifically, Introduction to Self-Reflection, are you able to, 1, understand the purpose and benefits of self-reflection? Yes or no? Number 2, were you able to explore key self-reflection techniques? I shared 5 of them with you. 6 of them, rather. 6 of them. Number 3, are you able to develop a personalized self-reflection practice? So of the 6 techniques I shared with you, were you able to choose one and say, I'm going to practice this one self-reflection technique? Mind mapping, journaling, meditating, feedback from others, among the pause, self-questioning, reflection prompts. 6 of them. I think I gave you 1 for bonus, right? So definitely, were you able to? We're going to close off now. Stay connected. Stay connected. Yes, we're here every Tuesday for approximately 1 hour. But throughout the week, if you want top up on self-development, if you want top up on self-growth and personal growth, you want to subscribe to our TikTok page, Thrive at Eurique 1. You want to follow our TikTok page. You definitely want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, because that is how I support you throughout the week when we are not together. If you want additional support, you can register for one-on-one coaching, right? And we are available on WhatsApp, and you can also message us or call us at 631-635-0431 to schedule your one-on-one coaching for personal growth, self-awareness, public speaking, English, so many services for your one-on-one coaching. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Jamaican Time or Central Time, and any other time zone you're in. Just calculate from 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining class. Have a great day. Thank you for participating, for showing up, and for being serious about your self growth journey and investing in yourself. Take care, my friends. Thanks again. Oh, please remember to share. Please share. Please, 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 please share the recording, share the link, put it on your status, share it on your Facebook pages, whatever social media platform you're a part of. Send it in a text message, all of those. Tell everybody about the benefits that you are reaping. Thank you, Shelt. I'm going to leave with Shelt's comment. Remember to tell the class to like and share. Thank you. This is really useful content. It's coming out of the mouth of one of your classmates, one of your colleagues. So please share and like. When you watch it, don't just click off when it's done. Give it a thumbs up, even leave a comment. I want to shout out to Tammy. Tam, you have been amazing with commenting, because your comments really help to push the shorts and push the video to others. There are people out there who need this, and they don't know that this right here is here, and you're going to help them find it. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.